Hello everyone, so I'm Vincent, also known as Kiesha. So I'm the Chief Communications Officer at Massa. So Massa is a new blockchain, which is a bit different from the other ones. So we have a set of very cool features, which are really different. So one of them is autonomous smart contracts, and one of them is a real on-chain Web3. So you are going to see a bit more about it. And I'm very excited to be there. And that's the first time, actually, we present Massa to such a big conference. So I'm a bit stressed. So as you know already, blockchains are like a decentralized database, right? And one of the issues with that is it's controlled by a community of people, and all of them sometimes do not agree together. So we have a problem also with scalability. And on this point, today's blockchains already failed you. Why? Because half of them are overloaded, the most decentralized ones, and all the new generation blockchains are over-centralized. So we all know the issue here. We are going to discuss a bit furthermore about the Nakamoto decentralization coefficient. So that's 4 of the points we discovered, on the vision, how we set up our vision at Massa. So that blockchains are decentralized database, of course. That decentralized and scaled is a huge challenge. And BTC and Ethereum have, of course, these scaling issues. And all the new blockchains have sacrificed the decentralization. So there is a very obvious way to find it. It's really like the Nakamoto decentralization coefficient. So please, don't kill me, whatever blockchain you are on. I'm just the messenger regarding the Nakamoto decentralization coefficient. So how did we come up with those numbers? It's scientific research. It's not only from us. You have scientific publications, peer-reviewed, regarding the Nakamoto decentralization coefficient. So regarding proof of work with Bitcoin, it's due to the hash rate of the mining pools, which own more than 51% of the network. Regarding Ethereum, actually, the number might be a bit outdated. It might have become worse since the merge and the proof of stake issue. But in April, the latest scientific publication put it between 3 and 4 in terms of decentralization coefficient. And one of the big issues since they moved into proof of stake is the delegation, because the delegation is also an issue about the voting power. So on Massa, we won't have delegation. And all the new blockchains, so again, please don't kill me, it's just a number. So why 1? Because, as you know, some of them, they sold like all the supply, so 98% to their biggest backers. It's owned by their families. It's owned by a couple of friends. It's owned by the team. Also, when you study some of the tokenomics on those blockchains, it's quite interesting because even when they put, for example, 50% of the supply being for example, for future rewards for validators, the team owning, for example, already like more than 50% of the blockchains, and they get 50% of the rewards. So yes, why 1,000? So as I said before, we won't have delegation. So it was one of the challenges of the team when they did the scientific paper, so the tech paper, you can take a look on our website. They really wanted to have the highest decentralization because all the time when you launch a new blockchain, right now, you always tend towards more centralization. So the Nakamoto decentralization coefficient is always decreasing. So we wanted to have 1,000 as well as 10,000 transactions per second. It won't go higher. We're not going to promise more than 10,000 transactions per second, but just as a comparison, for example, Visa and MasterCard, that's the number of transactions they run usually, around like 8 to 10,000 transactions per second, which is actually, a good comparison. So that's how we wanted to put ourselves on the market. So as you can see, you have all the new layer 1 technologies, which promise you 100,000 transactions per second, 50,000 transactions per second, but which are centralized with a Nakamoto of 1. And then you have like Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are like so far what we will still call the most decentralized ones. So Massa, more decentralized and faster, but still like a new market. So here we wanted to showcase a bit how infrastructure is a bit different as well. So how did we reach this level of transactions per second and this Nakamoto? So as you know, you have the classic blockchain infrastructure with each block which is created and validated by the previous blocks. On Massa, we have 32 threads. So we parallelized. We have 32 threads and a DAG. So each block is created thanks, so you can see the connections, thanks to the endorsements from the blocks from the previous threads. So there is one in each thread. You can actually check on the Explorer. You have the visualization of the live blockchain, on the testnet. So you can see all the threads and all the blocks created at the same moment. So we have actually one block every 0.5 seconds. So the simulation was very nice. The sense was very nice. But right now, actually, again, we're on testnet. And we have already shown that we can reach 10,000 transactions per second. So that's why also we are bringing these promises. So low fees, accessible hardware. Why accessible hardware? Because you can run, what we want is also people to run more easily a node home. So it's not a Raspberry Pi. It's a simple PC tower, second-hand, $400 to $600, which is with 4 cores and 16 gigabytes. And for the whole blockchain, the storage is 1 terabyte for all its life. Why? Because also we forget the blocks. That's how as well how we reach such a level for the storage with 10,000 transactions per second. Well, low energy consumption, like as any proof of stake blockchain, and the balanced distribution, because we're not going to showcase here the tokenomics. If you're interested, we can discuss them. But as well, we wanted to do something different. We're not keeping, 20% for the team and I don't know, like 30% for like the backers or things like that. So now let's move on what was one of the topics of the day, which was the real decentralized web or on-chain Web3. So how it's going on right now on the current blockchains? Well, you always connect, uniswap.org, curve.finance. You use your classic browser, right? So you just connect on it. So you have your domain, you have your DNS retrieval, and then you connect with your MetaMask using a plugin, which is always an issue. Like, why? Because first thing, some of the people, they are going to look on Google for it, and they end up with scams. And secondly, because as well, it's very, not easy, but a lot of the apps have been already hacked in the past through their centralized point of failure, which was like the website or the app. And one of them was actually Badger DAO. You all heard about it. So 120 million have been stolen from the users. So here, there is a mistake. It's not Massa plugin, it's Massa clients. So on Massa, it's a bit different. So you have, through your browser, you can connect on yourdapp.massa. So we have our own domain names, our own DNS. You have your retrieve the DNS thanks to our heavy clients, so which is either on your phone, either on your computer. And then the user can interact directly through it. So you can, of course, for users' experience, you can still have plugins and so on, to manage your wallet, such as people use MetaMask, but you actually don't need it. And how it looks like. So basically, we have our dApps, which are uploaded on the blockchain and which are actually smart contracts. So you just register your domain, you design your dApp, you upload it, and then the users, they can interact with it directly. And it's not only a PowerPoint presentation, it's actually also already live on the blockchain. So you can already try it. If you go on our GitHub, you just go on Massa Labs, on the GitHub of Massa Labs, you download Sura, which is the heavy client, and you can already upload your dApps on the blockchain, interact with them, access the register of already uploaded websites and dApps, and it's actually fun. So here it's just some screenshots about how it looks like. Yeah, still in design in terms of UI UX. But yeah, so the first one is about when you register your domain. Second one, when you upload your dApp. Third one is the register. So that was also another example about how real on-chain Web3 can be a bit different. here we use, like censored media in some countries. So as it works, well, like you have a centralized authority because of political reasons or whatever, which can block a website, news website, in any country. And Massa, it wouldn't be the case because you just need one node in this country to be able to access it anywhere you are. Still, you can have censorship somehow, which is based on the validator's decision. Either a validator can always block by itself, like access to this or this data, but then you will access it through another validator. Either, well, if the DAO takes a decision. Then the second topic, it was about the autonomous smart contracts. So right now, all the smart contracts are kind of centralized. Why? Because you need always a human, single point of failure, or a server to poke or wake up your smart contract. Always. So example here as well with MakerDAO, but you have other DApps, whenever their botnets fail, well, they can do liquidation, they can do like their limit orders, they can do all these kind of things, and then they get some bad debt. Recently, some projects added what they called like automated smart contracts. So they create, thanks to cloud infrastructure, some botnets which are going to wake up automatically the smart contracts to automate liquidation and such things. But still, it's a single point of failure. AWS, for example, is done once, twice a year, and you still have issues. For example, if there are like famous blockchains, not even for the smart contracts running exclusively with agreements for their validators with AWS, and once, twice a year, they are done. So how did we end up to do the autonomous smart contracts? So basically, either your smart contracts will be able to emit message for the future, so it's like related to the time. Either they work a bit like AWS Lambda, so when you code your smart contract, you can add like setup of triggers, so even if there is no owner, even if no one is going to wake them up and so on, they live by themselves on the blockchain, they are going to listen to events. Of course, they can listen to events more centralized, other smart contracts, users, humans, but they can also listen to the gas fees, number of transactions, the number of wallets created, like activity on the blockchain. So because they listen of the activity on the blockchain, basically they can wake up by themselves. And we have already like the apps building on Massa which are using the autonomous smart contracts. So we have the first AMM, which is called DUSA, which won the first hackathon of Massa. So for DUSA, everything related to limit orders, everything related to liquidations and so on, is using actually already the autonomous smart contract. Star Origin, actually one of the co-founders of Star Origin is here if you want to meet him later. Star Origin is also a bit different, so it's not financial, the app. It's a game, and because they have a persistent universe, they want to have unexpected development in this game, so they use as well the autonomous smart contract. So that's where we are in terms of the roadmap. So the paper was published in 2018. We launched the testnet a bit more than 1 year ago. So right now we have a bit more than 6,000 validators, which is not too bad for a blockchain you might never have heard of. 6,000 is actually quite good, in my opinion. So we did a first private sale, and right now we are doing the strategic round, and we are launching before the end of Q2 next year. We have already an ecosystem. Again, something not too bad for a blockchain you might never have heard of. We have wallets, such as Beerbuy. There is another one, Energy 8 Building. We have AMM, such as DUSA. We have games, such as Star Origin and Metarkey. We have already, of course, like partners, and we start to have institutional partners, more settled like Web2 companies, such as Inuk. The same, so if you want to know more about the ecosystem, we'll be happy to fill you in. And yeah, we have around like right now 15 apps, and we want to have around 50 before launch. Here is just a kind of personal challenge of the team to have more than some other blockchains recently which launched, just to prove that while we are more decentralized, we can also launch with more apps because we have different features. So as I said, you can already try the testnet. Very easy to run, like just to take a look. So yeah, the Explorer, like right now, you can take a look as well, so it's just fun, but I will let you check it out. That was the three co-founders. They are still the three co-founders. So all of them did a PhD in physics, robotics, and computing. So they are like very like smart minds, and they will be happy as well if some of you are developers just to do some whiteboard together. Here is like the core team, so including me. So we have a former CTO of one of the biggest banking as a service platform. And we have as well like the former head of robotics and AI at SoftBank, which is also the CEO of independent gaming studio. Wow, that was just the figures, but yeah. And that's it.